With the Patriots seemingly playing hard to get, I'm off it. So it's time to set our sights on the next best realistic option for the Vikings to trade up. If and only if, and I can't emphasize this enough, if your guy falls at quarterback, it's got to be the right fit. You don't want to trade up in order to take a quarterback for the sake of trading up to take a quarterback, because then that means you're settling. And if you're Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, Kevin O'Connell, this regime, you want to select the guy that you feel can help you achieve the goals that you set forth when you went through the interview process with the Wolf brothers. We can win a championship. So this guy that we're taking, we believe we're going to win a championship with him. An 1,100 square foot home that's listed at $400,000 because that's the best home available on the market right now. The market dictates that if you want this home, you're going to have to pay that amount of money. Could you do it? Sure, but then I'm settling. You know what? That's okay. I'm going to bide my time, wait another year while I rent, get my money together, and then see what's out there the following year. But if your guy falls, the Arizona Cardinals at pick 4, they need a wide receiver and edge rusher. And certainly 11 and 23 can get that done. However, with Kyler Murray, with them sticking with Kyler Murray for at least another year, I think the idea of pairing Marvin Harrison Jr. with Murray is just too enticing to pass up. So I think they're going to stand pat at 4. But pick number 5, the Los Angeles Chargers. They are a mess. They need 2 wide receivers, a tight end, interior defensive lineman, a running back. 11 and 23, I think they're going to be more receptive to trading down versus the Arizona Cardinals. Because if they play hard to get, like New England reportedly is doing right now, the Chargers are like, well, you're going to have to raise the price up for that if you want to get to pick number 5. Then it's like, all right, bro, who is Justin Herbert going to throw to? Quentin Johnston? Will Dissly? Good luck with that. And I've done multiple mock draft simulations for the Chargers to see, okay, is this going to be enticing enough for them? And it always is. At pick 11, Brock Bowers, I think that's a home run pick. At pick 23, going wide receiver, it's usually between Adonai Mitchell from Texas or Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU. And then with their next 2 picks in the 2nd and 3rd rounds, back-to-back Michigan players, Chris Jenkins on the defensive line and Blake Corum at running back. I think this would be a great trade for both teams because in the case of the Vikings, if you observe on draft night and your guy falls, then you trade up and you get your quarterback that you trust enough to attach your reputation to where you say, hey, we believe that this guy is going to get us over the hump and help us compete for championships on a consistent basis. And with the Chargers, you're going to improve your roster a lot more versus if you were to stick and pick, further helping out Justin Herbert. And speaking of Justin Herbert, I've seen this floating around quite a bit, and I don't believe it's going to happen, but I do believe it's better than a 0% chance, and it's worth entertaining. New Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh has been boosting up his guy at Michigan, J.J. McCarthy. Oh, he's the best quarterback in this draft class. He's going to be one of the greatest of all time. If you think about what the Chargers have done this offseason with their roster, they kept Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Khalil Mack is getting up there in age, and Joey Bosa is an injury-prone guy. Although when he's healthy, he's pretty good. You could argue, I would argue anyway, that, you should move off of those contracts. Easy. Instead, they elected to keep both of those players. And instead, on offense, they let go of their 2 wide receivers. Mike Williams, they allowed him to walk in free agency. He's now with the New York Jets, and they traded Keenan Allen to the Chicago Bears. And if you think about the blueprint of a Jim Harbaugh football team, looking at San Francisco and Michigan, As head coach of the 49ers, 4 years there, the Niners, under Jim Harbaugh, always had a top 5 defense. They had a top 5 rushing attack in 3 out of the 4 years, and for all 4 years, a bottom half passing offense. At Michigan, 9 years there, 6 seasons with a top 5 defense in the country. The last 3 seasons, and not going to consider rushing offense here because relative to the rest of the country, there's only a few teams out there that has solid or better quarterback play. A lot of these teams, especially the military schools, Navy, Army, Air Force, Liberty last year, they're not a military school, or Coastal Carolina a couple of years ago, where they exclusively run the football. They don't pass the ball worth a damn. It's all relative, but the last 3 seasons, Michigan, where they won a national championship and the year before that went to the playoffs, top 3 in the country in total rushing touchdowns. The blueprint for a Jim Harbaugh-led football team is a stout defense, physical run game, and they don't ask a lot from their quarterbacks. With that said, sure, he could change, but at this point, do you really believe a guy as stubborn as Jim Harbaugh is going to completely flip the script on his philosophy? I don't think so. With that said, where there's smoke of Harbaugh boosting up his guy, J.J. McCarthy, is there fire where, hey, he would rather have his quarterback instead of the expensive quarterback that he's not going to have him do a lot of relative to pre-Jim Harbaugh with the LA Chargers. And if they are going to trade Justin Herbert, should the Vikings trade for Herbert? It's fun to think about because he's a damn good player, and what he would do with this offense with the weapons around him and Aaron Jones as his running back, it would be insane. However, you're going to have to pay Justin Jefferson. You're going to have to pay Christian Darrisaw. You're paying TJ Hawkinson right now. And the Chargers would have to take on, according to Spotrac, they would have to eat $108 million in dead cap. But the reason why I say it's at least higher than a 0% chance of possibly happening, even though it's not likely to happen, is because right now, apparently, this is dead cap season. Everybody's been taking the hits. The Packers with trading Aaron Rodgers. The Vikings right now with Kirk Cousins and Danielle Hunter moving on. The Broncos, Russell Wilson leaving, going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, everybody's doing it. But no, I don't believe it's fun to think about, but realistically, nah, man. But if you are going to trade up, I think on draft night, LA Chargers.